pretty good day. Kodesh Baruch Hu give you koyach, you're able to sit and learn today. It's a pretty special day. But I want to be mitzayin the day a little bit. Our minds can focus on not just today, but tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, the way we need to. So I want to tell you a story. How many want to hear a story? Okay, that's very good. I like it. You're learning Torah today. You're coming in a wonderful city where there's a lot of freedom and you can come. You have chairs to sit on and desks and wonderful rabbeim. You guys got it made in the shade. But years and years and years ago, it wasn't quite that way. So I want to tell you a story that I heard from my father, Olav Shalom, that he heard when he was 12 years old. And he also went to a Lubavitcher Cheder. Except that the Lubavitcher Cheder moved every 3 months. Not from one building to another, but from one town to another. And the reason they had to move was because they were being chased by the communists for the terrible aveira of learning Torah. So they moved from one town where they had slept in the Weiber shul, said nobody should find out they were there until some communists snitched and said, you know what, there are a bunch of boys learning. They got onto a train, moved to the next town. They did this for 10 years. Told me a story about what he had heard when he was a boy of 12 years old when his cheder came to Poltava. Poltava was a big city that at one time had many, many Jews. There were, in fact, in Poltava over 50,000 Jews. One of many such cities in Russia. And in that town, the majority of the people of the town were Chassidim. And of the Chassidim, the majority were Chabad. They were there just for a couple of months. And not very many people knew they were there. One individual whose name was Chaim Ber de Melamed. Chaim Ber de Melamed, he knew that the boys were upstairs in the Weiber shul. Because Chaim Ber was a Melamed, and he just enjoyed hearing the sound of Yiddish kinder learning in this terrible Russian communist vast wilderness. Chaim Ber told my father the following story. I want you to listen carefully. You're not going to see this printed in any book. And it's not a story that you heard from somebody or heard it from somebody. This, Chaim Ber told it to my father and he told it to me. Chaim Ber was born in Chof Zayin in 1860. So Chof Zayin Adar in 1882, he had to become a soldier in the Tsar's army. Which wasn't a particular picnic for a Yid who wanted to be a Jew. Besides the anti-Semitism, they tried very hard to see that they could convert Jewish soldiers who came. There were Yerid L'Chaim, those who became soldiers, very few of them ever left the military. One way or another, they were the ones who got it. So everybody tried to get out of being a soldier. So what they used to do is, they would find some way, many, many people went to America. Hundreds of thousands of Chabad Chassidim came to America in those very early years, so they shouldn't have to serve the Tsar's army. Many others found ways to get a p'tur, to get out of the army officially and legally. Some would act as though they were not quite in the right mind. Some would act as though they were ill and do things to themselves so that when they were checked by doctors, they appeared in fact to be ill. Everybody tried something else. Chaim Ber came to the Rebbe Marash in the summer of Chof Zayin Adar I. And he asked the Rebbe, "Was soll ich tun? What should I do? Ich darf sich stellen zum Priziv." I need to go to the induction office to be inducted into the Tsar's army. Maybe I should run away to a little town where they don't know me and there I can act like I'm a little bit out of my mind. Maybe I should try to be ill. What should I do? And the Rebbe Marash said to him, "Du darfst gar nicht tun. Geh und stell sich in Poltava." You don't need to do anything. Go to the regular induction center to Poltava. It's like I'm telling you, don't worry about it. You can go into the lion's cage. He's quiet. He's sleeping now. How many would take a chance? Right. But the Rebbe says so. If the Rebbe says so, what do? There are no questions. One little issue. He had to go to the induction office in November of 1882, or the end of Cheshvan Chof Zayin Adar I. What happened on Yud Gimel Tishrei Chof Zayin Adar I? The Rebbe Marash was nostalgic. The Rebbe Marash isn't here anymore. The Rebbe who promised him that you'd go and everything would be okay, the Rebbe Marash is no longer here. So there was a debate in the family. What should they do? Should he go here anyway? The Rebbe said. Some people said, no, you can't do it now. On Kleifen, a kleine Shtetl, run away someplace in a little town, you act the part. Some said, run to America. Reb Chaim Ber said, as he's telling my father the story, that Tatot mir gesagt, my father said to me, the Rebbe had gesagt, the Rebbe wird mekayim sein. The Rebbe said, don't worry about it. So he went. The induction center was in Town Hall in Poltava. My father described the building to me. It's a big, tall, Victorian building with peaks and towers and turrets. And in the front, in order to get up there, there was a set of 2 stairs meeting in the center, and a little patio and a big front door. 2 sets of stairs going up, that's the way you went inside. So he says, I came to the induction center and I see long lines on both sides. People are coming to be inducted into the Zarzan. And he got in line. The line is moving slowly and he's saying Tillim. The Eibush will help him. And suddenly he feels very uncomfortable. He turns around and he sees the Rebbe Marash standing behind him. His face turns, goosebumps all over the place. He starts to shake. It can't be, I'm losing my mind. The pachad, the fright of having to go to the privilleged, I'm losing my mind. He turns around again. The Rebbe is standing behind him. He walks a few steps forward in the line. The Rebbe is standing behind him. His mouth turns dry. His hands begin to shake. His knees are knocking together. He can't believe what's going on here. He's actually physically losing his mind. He turns around again. The Rebbe Marash is there. He goes up the stairs. He's afraid to turn around already. He's shaking. And before he gets to the door, he looks. The Rebbe is standing there. He goes through the front door. And as you go through the front door, as he explained it, there was a wide, grand staircase going upstairs. At the top of the stairs, there were a bunch of rooms, and you were ushered into one of the rooms where doctors were sitting. So he walked up the grand staircase slowly, and he's turning around every few minutes to see, and he's there. And he comes into one of the doctor's rooms, and his hands are shaking. His face is sure is white. And the doctor said to him, "On samashechi." Anybody understand Russian here? Samashechi, which means a crazy man. Pashol von. Get out of here. He took his passport and signed it. Crazy. Out. And he walks down and he doesn't believe what just happened. He looks around. Maybe someone. What happened? That's the story of Chaim Ber, the Malamed told me. Ich hab keinmal nicht gedient. Sometimes the Eibishter opens up the eyes. Even Bilam, the Goy, the Eibishter opened up his eyes so he could see what's really going on around him. What did he see? A malach. We live in a world where the only thing we see is what our eyes see. Do you see your neshama? How do you know you have it? How do you know you have a neshama? How do you know you have a neshama? Because you're alive. You're physically alive. If you're alive, you have a neshama. Can you feel your neshama?
Yeah.
When somebody pinches you, what do you feel? Your neshama or the pinch? We know we have a neshama. We can't feel it, we can't see it. We know we're alive. Then there are big tzaddikim who can actually see your sheirosh haneshama. They look at you and see the sheirosh of your neshama. How? Because they're not looking with their fleshik egg, with their eyes, they're looking with their neshamadik eyes. We can delude ourselves into thinking that the only thing here in this world is the things that we see with our eyes. Until something happens and then we say, it can't be. I'll tell you a little story. My mechutn in Toronto, Zalmanar in Grossbell, has a very, very important gvir who has been supporting him for many years. His name was Joey Tenenbaum, all of us. One day, Joey Tenenbaum calls up Rabbi Grossbaum and he says, Rabbi Z, we got to go to the Oel. He says, what happened? Rabbi Z, I'll tell you, I'm going to have my jet wait. Today we're going to the... Today we're going to the Oel. He meets him at the airport and says, Joey, what's the matter? He says, this morning I came from the doctor. They told me I got a big C. You know what that means. Yele Machle, the terrible disease. I'm going to the Rebbe. And they're in the plane, and within an hour they're in the airport in New York, and he's running to the oil. Now, I knew Joey Tenenbaum. So it's not a story that I heard about Chinaman someplace else. I knew this man. He went to the oil, did minor lotion, he davened, and he went back. 2 days later, he calls up Rabbi Grossbaum and he says, Rabbi Z, they can't find it anymore. I knew Joey Tenenbaum perhaps 10 years after this story happened. And he was a healthy man. He died over 90 years old, 2 years ago. What happened? The doctor said it can't be. I have the slides to prove it. Who cares about slides? He was a healthy man. Kinderlach, we should not for 1 minute think that everything we see with our eyes, that's all there is. There's a lot more. Because you have a neshama. And don't ever forget that Rebbe nurtured your neshamas, and he still nurtures your neshama. The Rebbe was a little boy of 5 years old. Just turned 5. The summer of Tofresh Samach Vov. And his family went to vacation near the Crimean Sea in the town of Odessa. And it was very hot. And the boys were playing. And some of the little boys from very nice homes took off their yarmulkes. But the Rebbe wore a little cap like the... What do they call the things that the spouting of that area where? No, it's a little cap that fits very snugly on your head, but it's big. The Gruzina Yidden wear it. Bukhar and yarmulke. Okay? He was wearing a big yarmulke like that. Why did the kids take off the yarmulke? Because they were running around. The yarmulke fell off. You didn't put it right back on, and it's hot. The Rebbe was playing with the other kids, and there was sweat running down his face. So his aunt came over to him and said, by his first name, the little lamed ayin at the end, sit down for a minute and take off your cap, you're sweating. So the Rebbe said, you're not allowed. So aunt said to him, Af mir is dein avere. The avere is on me. So at 5 years old, the Rebbe says, what difference is it in who the avere is on? An avere means you didn't do what the Eibishter wanted. And the 5-year-old little taught his aunt, who was a very chashuv, daughter of a Rav, and a Rebbetzin in a big city, taught her a lesson she would never forget. The Eibishter is everywhere. What's the difference? But even more, what the Rebbe taught then as a 5-year-old boy was it doesn't matter whose avera it is. You are responsible for everybody's avera. You need to see as many people as possible should do the right thing. What does the Rebbe want to point out? He wants only one thing. What's the one thing the Rebbe wants from everybody? Anybody want to try? The Rebbe wants you to be the best you can. That's all. He wants you to learn the best you possibly can. You don't compare yourself to anybody else. Who cares about anybody else? You have to be the best you can. You have to be the best kind of person to have the best midas that you can. Who cares about other people? Who cares what other people are doing? I know the right thing. I'm going to do the right thing. The Rebbe wants every child, every individual, use big words, to maximize his potential. To use all the koiches HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives everybody koiches with special talents. Doesn't matter who you are. And everybody has special things about them. There is nobody in this room that's not special. Special in one way, special in another way. The only question is, how are you special? But everybody's special. And the Rebbe wants everybody to use his special koiches in the best possible way. And if you think for one moment that when you write to a pidyon to the Rebbe, that it makes any difference whether you wrote it today or 25 years ago, you're mistaken. That's the story I told you. It doesn't make any difference. Loi ozav Hashem es haaretz. The Eibishter is still here. He didn't leave us. How do I know that? Not just because of the story. Because that's what the Eibishter says in Tanya. The Alter Rebbe says in Tanya. B'chaim u'b'maisai. But it all depends upon you. If you do what the Rebbe wants, if you're part of the Rebbe's army, then all the hashpah of the Rebbe comes to you naturally. If you mess up, then you got to get back on track. There's no such thing as somebody who can't get back on track. So on a day like today, those of us who remember Chof Zayin Adar who were there, it's a day you can't possibly forget. It's a day everybody relives in his mind over and over. For those who are not there, you need to take koyach from this day. And in spite of everything, the Eibishter is with us. Rebbe is with us. The Eibishter will help him, Yetz Hashem, that you will all grow and become talmidei chachamim, and chassidim, and yorei shamayim. You all bring the Rebbe a great deal of nachas.
Thank you very much.